Hello, happy Sunday friends, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Hallie, I'm an illustrator and digital artist, and this is my art channel where I share everything art related. You can also find long drawing process videos, tutorials, art tech reviews, small studio vlogs, and occasional sessions of yapping about art related topics. So subscribe if you enjoy all these things. Today I have some questions I gathered on my IG, so we'll do a little Q&A while I work on this artwork. But first, a small word from today's sponsor. This portion of today's video is kindly sponsored by QCY. QCY is a leading audio brand founded by a team of passionate audio enthusiasts and engineers driven by innovation. Their mission is to make premium sound accessible and offer innovative, budget-friendly products that enable users to enjoy exceptional audio experiences. And as an audio enthusiast and musician myself, and having collabed with them in the past, I was super excited to try their new noise-cancelling headphones, the QCY H3s. This feature, adaptive noise cancellation, high-res audio, 360 special sound, up to 102 hours long playtime, 7 mics for call clarity, and 6.0 Bluetooth for a stable connection and zero lag. The sound, you guys, is honestly fantastic, rich and immersive. I have sound engineering experience and these are studio quality, so dynamic, all in one very affordable pair of headphones. And as a crazy audiophile person, I am loving them. The adaptive noise cancellation is great if you're like me and struggle to concentrate when working, as I use this to listen to music while drawing and I can really look into my process. This can achieve an impressive minus 56 decibel noise reduction, and you can turn it off if, for example, you're outside walking and you need to hear the sound of your surroundings. The build quality is sturdy and earbuds are also so soft, which allows you to wear this for a long time without getting an headache. I am truly impressed and I am suggesting this to all my friends. I couldn't wait to show you because I am very passionate about audio, as it is a huge part of my creative process. Music allows me to concentrate, get inspired, and many of my artworks are actually inspired by songs I love. Having a great audio experience while I work on my art is a priority to me and for many, and the H3s genuinely include all the features I look for in a pair of headphones without breaking the bank, which is why I am suggesting this to you today. You'll find the link to get the H3s down below in the description box, and thank you so much to the friends at QCY for choosing me and sponsoring a portion of today's video. So, first question. Have you taken any courses in the area of illustration? Short answer, no. I am pretty much self-taught. Long answer, when I first approached digital art, I had a background of traditional art and I used to take oil painting classes at school. Mind you, this was back in 2015 when I got my first drawing tablet, which was the old beloved Wacom Bamboo. I have done so much with that little tablet, even my first ever commissions, and my background is from the old comic style school. I am mostly influenced by my childhood comics and I used to watch many speed paints and tutorials from big artists in the field, even just them drawing in silence, but that was all content free to find online. Even this video here is very similar to what I used to watch back then. I don't know if you remember, but speed paints were huge back in the days, around 2012, 2015. Artists used to post just speed paints with music and that was it. And honestly, I used to absorb so much from those videos alone. Today we have access to so many informations and online courses, so the choice for someone who wants to learn are really endless. I must admit I wasn't the best when it comes to joining real-life classes. I am a very shy person and so I prefer an online approach. But if you find a course you would love to follow and join from an artist you love, you could only benefit from it. From my point of view, there's really no downside. How long from sketch to rendering does your process usually take? So it honestly depends on the size of the artwork. A headshot, for example, would take me less time than a full body piece with a background. But it also depends on the complexity of the artwork and how intricate the details are. I'd say an average of 7 to 10 hours for a drawing. Of course I had pieces that took much more, but in those cases it was more because of indecision or changing something mid-drawing or spending a longer time rendering, more details than anything. When I film, I must admit I take a little longer because of course I check the camera, etc, and it's kind of like doing two things at once. Through the years my process got faster for sure. I was very slow at the beginning, and one thing that sped me up was getting an iPad. Tablet without screens are good, but it was a constant Ctrl-C when doing line art, and if you know, you know. So inevitably it slows you down. I got much more efficient with a screen tablet, and for commissions it's just great. It does take longer because clients need to review the sketch, you need to wait for the reply, make changes if needed, send the sketch again, so obviously it's more the logistics that take longer. So if you learn to work a bit faster without compromising quality, of course, because that's not good, you can compensate for that a little bit. So yes, an average of 7-10 hours in my case. How do you stay inspired and get ideas when you're not in the best place mentally? And I'm gonna incorporate this question with another one because they are similar, which is, if you face any issues with the art block, how do you handle it? I think we are breaking a record today for the most asked question ever. There were like 10 or even more people asking this, so I'm gonna make it the main theme of this video. I feel like it's probably the change of season getting us all a bit gloomy and uninspired. So little disclaimer, I'll be talking a bit on my experience with mental health for this question here, so if you're triggered by anxiety and other related topics, feel free to skip to the next question from the timestamps below. Disclaimer out of the way, so I don't know if I ever talked about this before, but I have been suffering with bad anxiety for as long as I can remember, and if you have it too, you know that you have good times and bad times. We all experience things differently, of course, and I have learned how to manage mine in a sense after all these years. I have days where I am extremely sluggish and tired, and it's so hard to power up in those days, especially when stress is involved. In my case, art isn't just a passion, it is also my job, so I do have deadlines, whether it is for collaborations with brands for my social media or commissions, so that means that I have to create even if I do not feel like it. And also making different business choices. Don't get me wrong, I love my job because I love making art, making videos and content, etc. So this is just my point of view, not a general one, since we all have different approaches to work in different jobs that require different kinds of mental power. In the specific case of an artist, it all comes down to creating stuff, and obviously you cannot be 24/7 in creative mode. One thing I do is that if I am having an awesome day, I try to do as much as I can because my inspiration and creativity is boosted, and the things I create, whether it is art, videos, etc., turn out much better because I was in a great place mentally. So I catch up with work, I try to bring all my ideas to life during those days, because I know that inevitably there will be days where I don't feel good, or maybe I am sick or simply tired, and I can use those days to rest and recharge. Rest is part of the creative process. As I always say, you cannot be active and inspired without recharging. I know what you're gonna tell me, that you feel guilty when you do nothing, and I still feel like that a lot. But we need to take care of ourselves. I have been art blocked and burnt out, and I honestly brought myself to the point it makes no sense. Even a single day of distraction and rest can help bring your mind to a better place. When I'm not feeling well, one thing I like to do is taking a nap. I know it sounds silly, but it kind of resets my brain. I know that if you're an anxious person, you can probably relate. And I try to do other creative things that I feel like doing in that moment. For example, I like crochet, I like photography, I like making music, and sometimes we struggle to find time for different creative activities, especially if one of them is your job. I use all my creative juice for drawing sometimes, and then I have... That was a big thunder. And then I have nothing left, especially if I am feeling anxious or stressed. Redirecting your mind towards a different thing helps a lot. So my answer is, the remedy to stay inspired is actually having a good day of not being inspired at all, resting, gaming, napping, going out and doing other things you love, things that will fuel your creativity without you even noticing. Being inspired 24/7 would be great, but we are human, we need to recharge and enjoy a cup of tea in silence sometimes. As a very anxious person, after all this time I know when it's time for me to rest, because yeah, I know myself, but for example, last month I had an awful sinus infection and I really wanted to finish a couple videos, started recording the voiceovers, and I told myself, okay, no, you need to stop now and go lay in bed. I genuinely felt like doing the videos. I wasn't stressed in that moment or anything, but my voice was unbearable. My nose was stuffy, I couldn't even breathe properly, and I was like, okay, if I post this, people will unsubscribe from my channel. It was that bad. So even in those cases, you need to learn when it's time to rest, and that drawing you really want to make can wait for you to be at your best mental shape. So I had several questions regarding art tutorials, and a couple weeks ago I made a poll here on my community section where I asked what you would like to see first, and skin coloring won. So I am working on that one and creating some downloadable assets for you guys, for example color palettes for different skin tones, etc. I have never made downloadable assets before, but I think it would be fun for new artists to learn new techniques. Let me know if you would be interested. I am a firm believer that you need to apply techniques to your own drawings, because by doing so you will also improve other parts of the artwork, since some shading styles, in my case at least, are applicable to different parts of a character. But yeah, I think color palettes are great to have handy to understand color theory and train your eyes. So yes, new tutorials will be coming soon. Is it still possible to grow as an artist on social media? Okay, this is also one of the most asked questions, and I think it deserves a dedicated video. I can understand why you asked this, because I myself am in that exact position. Little premise: I know many artists who do not believe that as an artist you should focus so much on social media, which is true by an extent, but also untrue. Let me explain. Today things are very different than 25 years ago, for example, when social media wasn't a thing yet. It wasn't easy for artists to be seen, kinda like musicians, right? If you didn't have a contract with a recording label, very hard to be heard. Today there are so many independent musicians who have the chance to share their music on stream platforms, as well as we have artists showing their visual art in their little online gallery, which can be a social media page, a portfolio, whatever you want, depending on your goal. And you should ask yourself, what is my goal? Truth is that if you want to work with your art and potentially sell your art, social media is a huge important instrument to take advantage of. And yes, I believe that you can still grow on social media despite all the algorithms being a bit wonky sometimes. And if your goal is to create art-related content, share your process, do commissions, I am taking this example because this is what I do. Learning how to approach social media is inevitable and extremely important. From my experience, I can tell you that it is 20% luck and 80% skill. And I am not talking only about drawing skills, but you need to learn how to film yourself, etc. For example, when I opened my Instagram account back in 2017, I used to just post my still images, and it didn't do as well as when I posted the still completed artwork combined with a speed paint. I am talking about a time where reels and short form content wasn't a thing yet. And why is this? Because people usually love to see an artist at work. Seeing what it took them to create that piece is genuinely fun and inspiring. So video content really is crucial to grow on social media today, and that will then take people to your finished pieces that will then result to possible job opportunities of different kinds. The best suggestion I can give you, assuming you have already experience with art, is to focus on learning how to film videos properly so that you can do that effortlessly and in background, kind of, while working on your artworks. Now, this is a topic that would deserve to be explored more in depth because there are many aspects, so please let me know in the comments if you would be interested in a dedicated video. And I think that's all. I know there weren't many questions today, but truth is that I had several questions that were pretty much the same. I feel like you guys unified your minds, or social media and getting out of art blogs are very hot topics today. So I hope I replied in an understandable way. English isn't my first language, as you know, so please, if there's something I didn't say correctly properly, please let me know or ask me more things in the comments. I appreciate you all for watching. Subscribe for more and follow me on Instagram to see more of my art. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.